internet is a gift and a curse. Yeah, you gotta. The only bad thing about the internet is every fucking body got an opinion. Soon as it is there, you know what I'm saying? Like it's so much money on the table out in the world. Like people got to go back 20, 30 years ago. It wasn't as many superstars, athletes, or entertainers as it is right now. You know what I'm saying? Or as many entrepreneurs, as it is right now with the internet.
Information is everywhere, man.
It's everywhere. So like the internet is a gift and a curse. Yeah, you got.
The whole internet froze the moment Big Meech popped up with that calm but dangerous type of presence. It looked like he'd been sitting back watching everybody move reckless and finally decided it was his turn to talk. Nobody thought he'd come through with real commentary after staying off the radar for so long. But when he spoke this time, it felt like he walked right back into the room with intent. And the wildest part, this was the first time he said anything publicly since everything blew up between 50 and that whole messy situation involving Rick Ross and the BMF name. So when that clip hit social media, I stopped everything and paid attention because Flea Meech wasn't just talking, he was sending a message the entire industry could feel. He started breaking down how people online crumble over the smallest comments, and he was speaking pure truth. I've seen grown adults lose control just because a stranger typed something they didn't like, and Meech basically stepped in like, listen, everybody out here stressing over nonsense. His tone was calm, collected, and carried the kind of weight that makes people straighten up instantly. And you could tell his words weren't locked onto one person. He was talking to the whole crowd of people who treat the internet like it's a battlefield and act like stirring problems is a full-time job. Even the ones who built their whole identity around trying to provoke reactions felt that message hit them hard. Yeah, they felt that message too, even if they tried to act like it bounced right off them. The delivery was smooth, but the point was sharp enough that everyone knew exactly who he was trying to wake up.
The only bad thing about the internet is every fucking body got an opinion. So this is why the young people, their stomachs got to be strong. You got to be able to accept somebody saying anything about you, because any person got to. The dude can be out there in Africa in the fucking safari, and he can get on the fucking computer and give you a negative comment. These people's opinions don't count. A person on a farm somewhere, opinion don't count for real. You got 100 comments, 90 of them good, 10 of them bad, but you let them 10 bad ones get to you. See what I'm saying? That's part of being weak-minded or having a weak stomach, because you come up in this era. My era, I don't give a damn what you think. I'm pushing forward. I'm pushing forward. I'm not gonna stay stagnated or go low because of what you think about me, you feel my hair wasn't right.
And as I watched it, I kept thinking about how this connects to everything we've seen go wild these past few months. It almost felt like Meech had been sitting back quietly collecting every piece of drama, every slick little comment, every messy moment, and then decided to check the entire room without even raising his voice. That's exactly why this clip hit way harder than people want to admit. You could tell Meech has been watching everything unfold online because the way he broke it down felt like he had a front row seat to all the chaos. And since he hasn't really sat down for a full interview since coming home, this moment felt different. It was the first time we've seen him talk with this level of clarity, and it threw everybody off in a way nobody expected. People were not ready for that kind of honest breakdown, especially coming from someone who rarely jumps into the online noise. And honestly, he wasn't wrong for a single second. Folks forget that the era Meech came from wasn't built around this non-stop digital drama. That's why watching him move through this new world hit so different. Back then, you could stay focused on what mattered without dealing with millions of phones pointed at your face waiting to flip your words into something wild. Today, every step gets screenshotted, remixed, twisted, and thrown across the internet before you even realize what happened. And someone like Meech, who built his whole reputation in a completely different environment, has to adjust fast, whether he's into it or not. In his time, you didn't have to respond to every stranger typing something bold online. And you definitely weren't expected to chase every rumor that popped up. Back in the day, the streets handled situations one way, and the industry handled them another. But this new digital arena is a whole different battlefield. It's loud, non-stop, and people expect you to react instantly, even when the comment comes from a fake page with no profile picture. The fact that folks take that seriously is wild, but that's the reality we're in. And once you're responsible for a brand, especially one with a heavy legacy attached to your name, there's a point where ignoring everything just isn't possible anymore.
I'm dressing too young.
Right.
Like it's somebody else that just said my outfit look great. They can't wait. You know what I'm saying? Then you got you saying, well, he needs to talk older. Yeah, then I got a picture with Air Force Ones. They ain't up to your standard. Then I got a picture with the Louis Vuitton shoes on. Why he put them on? Like, come on, man.
Yeah. You gotta gravitate towards the.
You got to do what works for you. You can't please it. You can't spend time trying to please everybody. You can't make everybody happy. That's an impossible feat to accomplish.
The internet can grab the smallest slip up, twist it, stretch it, and suddenly it turns into a whole circus that refuses to calm down for days. Trying to clap back at everything is impossible, but letting everything slide isn't realistic either. Not when your name is tied to something as powerful and respected as BMF. And that's why what Meech said truly hits. Because after everything that went down between him and 50, the internet didn't just gossip, it exploded. Social media had that situation spinning like a tornado, and the commentary didn't slow down for a second. Even right now, people still bring it up like it happened yesterday, which shows how deep that tension really runs. The fallout never faded, and you can still feel the weight of it today. And the craziest part, nobody really knows what Meech's next move is, and that mystery has everyone watching him with serious focus. People want to know if he's about to step into business mode, entertainment mode, or something nobody saw coming. And that uncertainty is loud, way louder than people are willing to admit. He's in that rare spot where the whole world is waiting to see if he doubles down, rebuilds, switches direction, or shocks everybody with a completely new move. I get the mindset he came from because in that world, everything is about strategy. You stay quiet until the moment is right, and you definitely don't let the internet rush your decisions. Silence is a part of the plan, not a sign of confusion. But once you enter the corporate lane, especially when BMF is attached to a hit TV show and a real business connection with 50, the pressure changes instantly. You're not just representing yourself anymore. You're carrying a whole brand with history, expectations, and millions of eyes watching every step. So the real question becomes, what's the next play? This is the point where you see who's built for the long run and who's stuck holding on to the old ways. And I've always believed there's a big difference between someone who just moved product and a real hustler, because a real hustler can flip anything. A real hustler can take a setback, a rumor, a mistake, or even a public fallout and turn it into a win. It never had to involve the streets in the first place. It's all about mindset, not the product, and that's exactly why I honestly hope Meech takes everything happening right now. All the attention, all the drama, all the curiosity, and flips it into something major. He's in a moment where the world is watching him closely, and if he decides to turn this into something powerful, he absolutely can. He could shift the whole narrative in a way nobody sees coming. Meech is standing in one of the toughest moments of his life right now, and I say that with full respect because I truly want to see him rise out of this stronger.
He is right now, you know what I'm saying? Or as many entrepreneurs, as it is right now with the internet.
Information is everywhere, man.
It's everywhere. So like the internet is a gift and a curse. Yeah, you gotta, the only bad thing about the internet is every fucking body got an opinion, So this is why the young people, their stomachs got to be strong. You got to be able to accept somebody saying anything about you, because any person got to. The dude can be out there in Africa in the fucking.
His situation changed fast, and that public fallout between him, his son, and 50 put everything under a heavy spotlight. Then the show at Stars got canceled, and now the whole brand feels like it's just floating with no clear direction at all. And let's be real, he can't go back to the streets, not even a step, because that lane is not an option anymore, and everyone understands that. This is the moment where a real hustler proves what they're really made of. This is where the next move has to be smart, bold, and confident, because there are people out there waiting to see which direction he chooses next. There are people out here secretly hoping he slips, and that's the craziest part of all. Some folks actually want to see him fall back into old patterns just so they have something messy to gossip about. That kind of energy is strange, but it's real, and it surrounds anyone with a name as heavy as his. What made everything even more chaotic was how one simple moment, just standing next to Rick Ross in a photo, put Meech in a tough spot with 50 instantly. The second that picture hit the internet, things unraveled faster than anybody expected. All the long-standing tension between Ross and 50 suddenly spilled over onto Meech, and he ended up stuck in the middle without even trying. And what really stings is remembering that Meech was supposed to have one of the biggest welcome home celebrations the culture had ever seen. This wasn't going to be some regular event. It was supposed to be a massive historic moment with Rick Ross performing and other major Southern artists pulling up to show love. The whole setup was lined up to be unforgettable, but it never even got off the ground because 50 stepped in and shut it all down like it was nothing. He pulled the plug fast, and the momentum around Meech collapsed in an instant. One moment, people were hyped, ready to show support with no hesitation, and the next moment, everything flipped completely. And the wildest part? It wasn't even some big dramatic announcement. It was those quiet online hints, those little memes, those sly comments, that smooth undertone 50 is known for. The kind of subtle moves that hit harder than any direct statement. The energy shifted instantly, and everyone felt it. The internet grabbed that moment, twisted it, recycled it, and turned the whole welcome home celebration into something messy instead of a positive moment. What was supposed to be excitement shifted into confusion, and unity turned into drama just because people started reading into those online jokes and assuming the worst. And what makes it even wilder is how similar this looks to what's happening with Max B right now. People are trying to push that paperwork situation involving his brother, claiming he said something he shouldn't have, allegedly.
And he can get on the fucking computer and give you a negative comment. These people's opinions don't count. A person on a farm somewhere, opinion don't count for real. You got 100 comments, 90 of them good, 10 of them bad, but you let them 10 bad ones get to you. See what I'm saying? That's part of being weak-minded or having a weak stomach because you come up in this era. My era, I don't give a damn what you think. I'm pushing forward. I'm pushing forward. I'm not gonna stay stagnated or go low because of what you think about me, or you feel my hair wasn't right, or I'm dressing too young. Like it's somebody else that just said.
And even though the situations share a few similarities, the reactions couldn't be more different. With Meech, the shift was instant. One meme dropped, and the internet flipped the whole narrative without hesitation. But with Max B, there's pushback, there's support, there's debating on both sides, and a completely different type of energy behind it. It shows how unpredictable social media is and how fast a story can transform depending on who's involved. Meech is stuck in a spot where every move matters, every connection gets judged, and every rumor gets turned up louder than it should be. The noise gets multiplied before he even gets a chance to respond, and the internet loves running with anything that looks dramatic. But even in all this chaos, there's still a clear path forward if he plays this moment right. It all depends on how he chooses to move, and right now, everyone is watching closely, trying to guess what his next step is gonna be, because the whole situation around Meech took a wild turn the second he got spotted standing next to Rick Ross, and that one image changed everything. That one photo flipped the whole atmosphere instantly. A single snapshot turned into a full storm, and once people started reacting, it felt like the entire industry got tossed into confusion. Now that things finally cooled off and folks stopped arguing nonstop online, the real question hanging in the air is simple but heavy. Who's actually stepping up to help Meech move forward? Is Rick Ross gonna invest in his next chapter, or is Floyd Mayweather gonna be the one to help push the brand into a new lane?
Outfit look great. They can't wait. You know what I'm saying? Then you got you saying, well, he needs to throw some holders. Then I got a picture with Air Force Ones. They ain't up to your standard. Then I got a picture with the Louis Vuitton shoes on. Why he put them on? Like, come on, man.
You gotta gravitate towards the.
You gotta do what works for you. You can't please. You can't spend time trying to please everybody. You can't make everybody happy. That's an impossible feat to accomplish. You can't make everybody happy. You gotta make you happy and be concerned with the people that love you and love what you do. See what I'm saying? That's how you win. All that taking time out to deal with the negativity.
Because at this point, somebody with real weight and real resources has to stand beside him, especially after all that noise came from just one picture. And honestly, Ross should be involved, because whether he meant to or not, he helped stir up the whole situation in a major way. That moment of him and Meech standing together created tension that definitely shook up Meech's future plans. And let's not forget, Ross is the one who said he wanted to create a bigger BMF movie because he felt the TV show was bootleg and low production. That's what he said, not anybody else. So if he really feels that strongly, it only makes sense that he backs the next move instead of just talking online. But on the other hand, I gotta give respect to Floyd Mayweather, because the word floating around behind the scenes is that he looked out for Big Meech and Lil Meech at one of his properties for a little while. That's what the industry whispers keep saying, those quiet insider conversations that never fully hit the news but float around rooms and private calls. Whether every detail is spot on or not, the fact that people even bring up Floyd's name shows he might be one of the few with real intentions to help. ChatGPT can make mistakes, check important info, see cookie preferences. The fact that Floyd's name even comes up in that kind of behind the behind-the-scenes support shows who's really close when things get complicated. And here's where everything gets even more interesting. Now that all eyes are locked on Meech, people's true personalities start popping out fast. When the spotlight gets this bright, it exposes everything without mercy. You start noticing how some folks act supportive in public, throwing smiles and comments, but the second things get shaky, they fall back like they were never cheering to begin with. That's how the industry really works, and it's always quiet until you catch the patterns for yourself. Meech has to move through that messy energy while trying to build something solid again, and that's not an easy task at all. He's got pressure coming from every direction, plus the weight of his name, plus expectations from people who don't even know him, but still feel like they can comment on every single step he takes. That's a heavy load to carry, especially when your brand is tied to history, loyalty, and a whole culture that still talks about everything you've ever done. And people need to understand one thing clearly. Meech isn't just a symbol from the past anymore. He's not just a story people repeat online or some legend folks debate about. He's a full brand now with meaning, value, and real weight behind his name. That means every move matters, every handshake, every partnership, every picture, every random post on social media. It all shapes how people judge his next chapter, whether he wants it to or not. Every step he takes from here gets magnified, and that's exactly why this moment is so important. And because of all that, he has to choose his next steps with real precision, not out of fear, but pure strategy. The world is watching him closer than ever before, and that kind of pressure turns every decision into a calculated move. Anybody he stands next to could flip the whole conversation instantly, and anybody he distances himself from could spark a brand new rumor just as fast. This isn't just about rebuilding anymore. It's about securing the future in a way that respects the legacy while creating something fresh at the same time. And with the spotlight burning this bright, he has zero room for careless steps, only moves with intention and purpose. The judgment surrounding Meech is getting loud and quick, and anybody paying attention can feel that pressure building like a storm closing in. But moments like this are where you find out what somebody is really built from. Either the weight breaks you or it shapes you into something sharper and stronger. And knowing Meech's history, I don't see him folding at all. If anything, he looks like someone quietly mapping out his next lane, studying the room, and figuring out who has real support and who is only around for the shine. After everything that hit him, the fallout, the canceled show, the non-stop rumors, he doesn't have the luxury of moving without intention anymore. He's got to rebuild smarter, stronger, and with way more strategy than before. And trust me, people are watching every tiny step he takes like it's surveillance footage. This moment is delicate, but it's powerful too. If he plays it right, sometimes you got to lay the business out plain and simple, because in this world, perception runs the whole game. Folks don't always care about the facts. They care about whatever looks the strongest, loudest, or messiest online. And like I said earlier, you can waste your whole day trying to respond to every rumor, every joke, every twisted version of the story. But that's a battle nobody wins. The internet can build you up in an hour and flip your whole image upside down the next. One headline, one meme, one post from the wrong person, and suddenly the entire room is talking like they know the full story. It can make you look like Meech holding steady through the chaos, or it can make you look like Max caught in a messy moment he never intended to entertain. Two different situations, two completely different lanes, yet the public reaction to each one shows exactly how unpredictable this world is. Meech and Max both turned into examples without even trying. One tied to entertainment, the other tied to a heavy past. And still, the way people react proves how fast the internet twists narratives. The spotlight doesn't treat everybody the same, and that's the part nobody wants to admit. It shows how quickly the internet can jump from support to suspicion, depending on whatever feels convenient that day. One minute they're cheering, the next minute they're pointing fingers, and it all shifts with zero warning. And then there's Meech's response since everything went sideways with 50. Almost nothing. He barely said a word, barely reacted, barely entertained any of the noise swirling around him. And that silence speaks louder than anything he could have typed online. That silence alone has people convinced something major is moving behind the scenes. The energy around him feels eerie, almost like that quiet moment right before a big announcement drops. And I'm not even gonna pretend otherwise. The silence is spooky, but at the same time, it's powerful, because when someone with a name like his stops talking, the whole timeline starts whispering instantly. If Meech really is the hustler people claim he is, and let's be real, that's what his legacy has always shown, then this moment isn't the end of anything. This is the setup for a comeback. A real hustler doesn't stay stuck. They adapt, adjust, and flip the whole situation until they land on something stronger than where they started. And right now, he has every reason to bounce back and absolutely zero room to fall off. His back is completely against the wall, but sometimes that's the exact place where somebody finds the focus they need to rebuild with precision. Every single thing he does from this point forward is going to shape his next era, and the whole world is watching to see which direction he steps into next. But Meech isn't the only one carrying the weight right now. His son and the whole family have been moving with the pressure of this entire brand shift sitting heavy on their shoulders. This moment isn't small, not even close. This is the season where every decision matters, every step counts, and every misstep could cost them something major. This is one of those crossroads where you either build something stronger than anybody ever expected, or everything collapses faster than people imagined. The pressure is real because the BMF name isn't just a story from the past anymore. It's a brand, a business, a legacy that people have been watching closely ever since the fallout hit the internet. And the way things went down between him, his son, and 50 shifted the entire atmosphere around that name. People who once supported them started asking questions, and others stayed silent just to see how the situation would play out. The whole industry basically sat back waiting for the next headline, trying to see what direction Meech and his family would take next. That's exactly why this moment is make or break for them. And there's absolutely no room for excuses when you're carrying a name with this much history attached to it. Folks aren't patient and they don't hand out second chances easily. They want to see if you can pivot, rebuild, and create something new that still respects the legacy while proving you're not stuck in the past. And with the show getting canceled and the online narratives getting messy, the family knows this is not the time to move sloppy. They're in a space where every move is being watched like it's under a microscope. Every decision gets analyzed, every post gets interpreted, every connection gets judged. But here's the real truth. Pressure like this doesn't just crush people, sometimes it wakes them up and brings out a level of focus that wasn't needed before. And from everything I've seen, Meech looks like he's stepping right into that zone. He's studying the field, figuring out who's loyal, who's just hanging around for attention, and who actually wants to help him rebuild something real. This moment is forcing him to separate the noise from the real support, and that kind of clarity can change everything. This next chapter is about to reveal a lot, because when the noise finally settles and the spotlight stays locked on you, that's when people start showing their real intentions. That's when you find out who's genuinely standing with you and who was only around for the shine that comes with the name. And for Meech, his son, and everyone tied to the brand, this is the moment where every hidden truth rises to the surface. If they can move through this moment with clarity, choosing the right partnerships, taking control of the narrative, and building something solid, they could flip this entire situation into a power move nobody saw coming. This could be the moment that reshapes their whole future if they keep their focus steady. But if they let the internet noise, the rumors, or the outside pressure cloud their decisions, it could slow them down in ways they simply can't afford right now. Either way, the world is tuned in, watching closely, waiting to see how this next chapter unfolds. And honestly, this moment could turn into something huge if they stay sharp and intentional with every step they take. If you've been locked in with me this far, do me a solid. Hit that like button, share this video, and make sure you subscribe so you never miss the next update. Your support keeps this whole page moving strong, and it helps these stories reach more people who love breaking down the drama and the details. I'll see you in the next one. And don't forget, the video popping up on your screen right now is loaded with even more celebrity chaos and behind-the-scenes energy you don't want to miss.